Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Saskatchewan is reporting 246 new cases of COVID-19. 24 of those are in the Northwest Zone, which now has 403 active cases. The Northwest 2 subzone, which is the immediate Lloydminster area, has 9 new cases and 141 active cases. 4,547 cases are active in the province. There are 133 people in hospital, including 6 in the Northwest. 27 people are in intensive care. 387 more people have recovered. With the holidays coming up and restrictions from COVID-19, residents are trying to stay active while staying home. We chatted with a personal trainer to get some healthy tips and home workouts for those who'd like to keep in shape during quarantine.
I'm speaking with Jennifer McEwen today. How are you?
I'm good, Shelby. How are you doing?
I'm very good. So as being a local fitness trainer, can you kind of explain more on what exactly that you do?
Sure. So I live in Lashburn now. I'm from Lloydminster. I'm a personal trainer. We used to own a gym in town. I train people for bodybuilding competitions, bikini competitions, weight loss. I'm a local spin instructor still while the studios are still open, you know. So I feel like I'm really connected with multiple places in the community, and I really want to, you know, help those that are in there, maybe struggling a little bit with some of these new restrictions that are coming into play. So yeah, thanks for having me.
And I'm sure with your job, you know, and do many home workouts. What are some solid workouts for residents to do?
Well, I mean, starting off, it can be pretty overwhelming. It seems like, you know, first of all, just finding the time or committing to the time can be the number one problem. People are like, oh, I've got all day, or, oh, I'll wait until after supper. And then, you know, the day gets away from you, like Netflix is on and we're just going to sit at home and do that all day. So I think the number one thing would be finding a time for you to do it. Committing to that time, setting it like a meeting for yourself, maybe setting up a room that or a space in the room that's just for you or just for that area to do that, so that when you have that motivation or you have that drive to go and do it, it's already ready for you. Then maybe investing in something small, like a set of dumbbells or a yoga mat, or you know, anything that you can lift safely. And finding some things online, there's a ton of, you know, local businesses that are live streaming their workouts, or you can buy them, or doing core workouts, or reaching out to a, you know, a local trainer that you know, and jumping on board with some of their online programs. It's all out there and it is all doable. So.
And now with some newer restrictions and even some of our gyms closing here in Lloydminster, for the 4 weeks soon here, what workout equipment would you suggest to people that'd like to stay in shape while trying to stay home?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, you know, things that are affordable, depending on your budget, right? If you've got unlimited budget and you have the ability to have a great piece of cardio equipment, you know, a stationary bike, a treadmill, any of the Rogue, you know, the erg equipments that they've got, if you have that budget, by all means get those, because that's, if you can find them, I guess, too, is the other thing with a lot of the shipping problems now. Like, there just seems to be all these little hurdles, and you just take each one with stride and you just say, okay, I really want this. I'm going to, you know, stock that website and get it ordered. Or shop locally, go down to the local Canadian Tire, go down to the local, you know, whatever fitness stores we have, like Muscles and More sometimes have bands for sale. Like, go into those little stores and check out what they've got. Resistance bands are a great thing. They're super cheap. I know the local Sport Check has some in stock now, so you could grab those. And, you know, it's not the same. It's never the same as having a gym membership and having access to all of the equipment. And it's just adapting. Like, we're humans, we adapt every day. So just pick something that you might enjoy that you've never tried. Resistance bands, dumbbells, a kettlebell if you can find one, little weight balls. There's like wall balls that you throw up in the air. There's little balls that you can use for core exercises. I'm using my hands because I'm, you know, associating the piece of equipment with the exercise, but those things are out there and they are accessible. They're not overly expensive. You know, maybe $20 can get you a cheap little set of dumbbells, and that might be enough for you. You can do any body weight activity. You know, you're not stuck. I just want to put that out there, that this isn't the end. This isn't going to be forever. It's temporary, even, you know, temporary in a large scale of things. Even if it is 6 months, we can get through 6 months. It's okay. You know, invest in a couple of pieces and just commit a space and just set a time for yourself and go and do it. You have to be able to do that, you know?
And as we all know, with the holidays coming up, it usually brings lots of eating and treats for families and friends to enjoy. What healthy tips would you recommend starting the new year with, after people most likely using their cheat days this year for the holidays and they want to start off with healthier meals in the new year?
Sure. So one of the biggest things is making sure that you get your veggies in. Like there's the foundations, right? I work at a local supplement store. I work at Popeyes in Lloydminster, and they have a foundation stack. They want you to, get in your multivitamins, get in your greens, so you can have powdered greens. The great thing about supplements nowadays is it's all about the easiest to use, the easiest to get. The one scoop is your daily intake. So if you get a jug of veggie greens, that will be your daily intake of veggies for the day. So as the number one tip, get those multivitamins, get your veggies in. It's super simple, and make sure you're drinking water. You need to have 3 to 4 liters of water every day, just for your own, your own digestion to work, your brain to function. Your skin needs water. So having those few little things, your veggies, your water, your multivitamins, just those little bits will help. Substituting out where you can for sugar, for if you want to have a bag of chips, maybe investing in some almonds, have 15 almonds or something instead of a 300 calorie bag of chips. Something that's just simple like that to swap that out. There are those free foods, like celery's a free food, cucumbers a free food. That's not something that you'd ever count calorie wise. So if you find that you nibble on stuff throughout the day, having those fresh veggies like already made up, already cut up, that's a sort of a staple in the fitness industry. You hear that, it's like a broken record, right? Get your veggies, cut them up, but just do it. It's a simple way to do it, and to swap out if you have a little quick craving where you want to crunch on something. Now you just grab that handful of cucumber, you haven't set yourself back. Just something simple like that. If you're around, I know that they've limited the amount of family members or members that can be at a supper. So if you're around, even just you're at home and you're making your turkey and you've got your stuffing and you've got your baking, maybe just have 3 to 4 ounces of the meat, and then make sure you've got a huge amount of veg in there, and then just a little bit of the carb. A little bit of potato is fine. It's not going to hurt you. It's when you got a mound of mashed potato on your plate, like that's maybe not the best choice to make, right? Just subbing out some of those not so great choices for some better ones.
And is there anything else you'd like to add for residents to know about?
Oh, well, I just think that each little restriction that we're given, we need to just remind ourselves that we're okay. As a whole, as a community, there are resources out there. If you're struggling, if you're, if you know someone who's struggling with mental health problems, or still can't get out there, or just won't, reach out through the internet or whatever, just utilize those local steps that are there for you, and don't be ashamed of it. Everybody's going through it. Nobody's in a great space right now. There are days where I wake up and I'm like, I'm not working out for nothing. And then it's like, but I have clients and I need to. So then I use them as my motivation to keep going. And it's okay. It's okay to not feel okay, but let's help each other, get through this, and be there for your bubble, right? Support your bubble and for your community too. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure residents will definitely appreciate all these healthy tips from you today. Thank you for joining me, Jennifer.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
A grade 12 student from Holy Rosary is leading a project with the goal of purchasing blankets for the Lloydminster Interval Home. To raise money, she'll be auctioning off donations from local businesses. Jace Mackey has more on the 12 auctions of Christmas.
So I'm joined today with Hannah Bedwell. She is a grade 12 student at Holy Rosary High School. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Yeah, no problem.
So you're taking part in this project where you're raising money and going to be giving blankets to the Interval Home eventually. Can you just kind of talk to me a bit about this project?
Yeah, I just thought that I would do something to help the community a bit more. So I got in contact with some of the leaders of the women's shelter in Lloyd, and we came up with the idea that I would collect donations and put them up for an auction. And then using that money, and I'll just be doing that through social media, and then using that money, I would buy the blankets and donate them to the women's shelter after isolating them because of the virus.
So how did you first come up with the idea to do this campaign?
I just sort of thought that I should give back to the community. I feel like I'm a really lucky person. I feel like we have a lot of advantages with where we're at in the world specifically, and just in the community with the school. And then I was talking with my friends about trying to find like a bigger way to donate instead of just giving blankets or buying them myself. And he suggested that I should do an auction. So I spoke with some teachers and with the Interval Home, and they approved it.
So how is the auction going to work?
I'm going to make a separate Instagram and Facebook account to work in correlation with this. And then I'm just going to be posting on the stories and as an actual post itself each day for 12 days in a row, because it's sort of like a 12 days of Christmas situation. And then each of the days people can comment on the posts that are uploaded, and they have like 5-ish hours. And then through comments or direct messages, whoever is the highest, they get it.
And so you receive donations from different local businesses, is that right?
Yeah.
So what kind of businesses gave you donations?
I went to all sorts of different places. I went to Brixton Shoes. I visited some pet shops and I'm waiting to hear back. I went to Lux Hair Salon, Richardson Jewelry in the mall. There was a toy store, Walking on Water, a bunch of different places.
12 auctions of Christmas. When are you going to be doing your first auction?
It should start on Saturday, and we're calling it 12 Days of Auction.
Awesome. And for people who are looking to be able to take part in this, where can they find that Facebook or Instagram account?
I'm going to be posting it on Facebook, and I think Mr. Almond was looking into seeing if he could share it across some sort of school social media as well, but I still have to make those accounts. But it's just going to be called 12 Days of Auction for both Facebook and Instagram, hopefully.
And are you doing this pretty much all yourself?
Yeah, of course I have to work with the Interval Home, but it was me who came up with the project, and my school community is helping as well.
And the Interval Home, what just made you decide to raise money and then buy these blankets for the Interval Home?
A couple of years back, I did a project with the women's shelter, and they were very nice and they were very organized, and I really liked working with them. And then also, I tried reaching out to some places in Saskatoon and Edmonton, but with the virus, it's not as accessible, and they're not looking for as many donations, whereas the women's shelter was very welcoming with that. So I really appreciated that opportunity.
And have you been getting some support from your school community as well as you kind of venture into this campaign?
Yes, I have some teachers that were helping me, my ELA teacher and the teachers with the medias, and also Mr. Almond has been a big help with helping set up these meetings and so forth.
And before we end today, Hannah, is there anything else that you want to add about this project?
I just really appreciate everybody that's been involved, and I'm really happy that I have this opportunity, but that's about it.
We'll have more Primetime local news after the break.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back. A series of courses created in Lloydminster are available for people to make use of when getting separated or divorced. Stacey Comer spoke with Stephanie Dobson about the Up a Notch learning resources.
Stephanie Dobson is joining us here again today, and today we're still talking about divorce, but this is with her role as CEO and course creator of Up a Notch Learning. Stephanie, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stacey.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what this is. I've had a chance to look at it, and it has just got so much information, but for people who haven't had the chance to actually see what the website and the courses are about, tell us a little bit about what Up a Notch Learning is.
Sure. So in my role as founder and CEO of Up a Notch Learning, I've built an e-learning community for separating and divorcing families. The idea is to help them to be empowered and to thrive as they go through their separation and divorce. So it's filled with tons of free resources. There are some premium resources as well that we'll get into in just a moment, but lots and lots of resources for families to go through as sort of a I call it sort of a hub for divorcing families as they're going through, just to get lots of different perspectives and lots of different information.
Can you give me some examples, Stephanie, of when people go to the site, what they can find?
Yeah, so when you go to our website, you'll sign up for free, and it'll take you to a page and log in. And once you're logged in, there's a whole section called free resources. And in there's things like blogs, there's ebooks. For example, I've got a communication guide in there. There's interviews. I've got lots of different people that I've been interviewing, and I've got tons of people that are in the queue to be interviewed. People like, I've got a realtor who talks about how you would want to hire a realtor, what you could use a realtor for as you go through your separation and divorce, a personal trainer and habit transformation coach who has a fabulous interview, a financial analyst who can help you with, figuring out how to get a sustainable settlement that works for you. So lots of different resources, a confidence journey coach. So really interesting resources. I've also added in there a library of books of lots of different ways that you can get some good information as you go through your separation and divorce. So that's on the free side. And let me just touch for a moment just on the premium side. So in there, once you've logged in, if you wanted to go and check out the premium courses, I've got a course called Healthy Thriving Families 101. And it's really designed for families who are just starting out on their separation or divorce journey, or maybe they haven't even started yet, and they're just looking for that initial information on what to do next, what to look for, how to talk to the kids about separation, picking a professional and picking a process. And I got some of my top 10 tips in there. So those premium courses, it's offered either for sale by the course or it's offered for sale by the module. And so I really try to meet people where they're at, whether they want something free or just 1 or 2 modules of a course or an entire course. So I try to meet families where they are in their journey.
And Stephanie, if people are looking at the premium courses, what kind of a cost are we talking about here?
Sure. So for the entire course, all of the modules, so there's 9 modules, it's $97. And each module itself is $15. And so sometimes $15 is, obviously is quite a bit more digestible, and that's why I've offered it by the module as well.
Why did you decide to do this, Stephanie? It seems like, as a lawyer, you're busy. First of all, you've got a lot of stuff on the go, and now you've added this to your portfolio as well. So why did you decide to go and create this website and have all of these courses and everything?
It's interesting. It's become a bit of a snowball effect, and my focus for the past 15 years of my career has been on helping families through separation and divorce in a way that prevents further destruction, or in a way that creates resilience in families and in children. But what I know from working with families is that has to be created. It doesn't just happen by osmosis. And so people are looking so are looking so hard for information that's positive, and the web, on the internet, there's so many different places you can go. And so I wanted to create a hub where people could go to find only positive information on helping you to get through your journey in a constructive way as opposed to a destructive way.
And Stephanie, if people are interested in either checking out the free information that you have or the premium courses, what is the best way to find Up a Notch Learning?
Sure. So you can head straight to our website, upanotchlearning.com, and there's tons of information just on the website itself, and information on each course and what you'd find within the portal. Or people can go and actually click on sign up for free, and it'll take you straight into the portal.
All right, Stephanie. Well, thank you so much again for talking to us today. This is just a great resource because I think, it's people trying to figure out where to start and where to go. And again, there is so much information available. So we thank you for doing this for people. And again, just a great resource for everybody. So thanks for doing this, and thanks for speaking with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Now here's our Heather Klages with this week's edition of What's Happening.
The Service Sports Center is where you're going to find the Border City Farmers Market Christmas Market tomorrow. The doors will open at 11 a.m. and it's an opportunity for you to support some local home-based businesses, crafters, and so many more vendors are going to be on hand. Whether you're looking for Christmas home decor, maybe you're looking for some delicious baking for Christmas, maybe you're looking for that perfect gift idea. You're going to find a great selection at the Christmas market held by the Border City Farmers Market tomorrow right here at the Service Sports Center. Just remember that COVID-19 protocols are in place, so make sure you put your mask on before you head indoors. The 6th annual Parade of Lights is coming up on Thursday night, and this year's event will be a little bit different. It's an opportunity for you to drive through all the different floats that are going to be decked out with beautiful lights for Christmas. On Thursday between 4 and 8 p.m., you can head for the Lloyd X grounds with your family, drive through the different parade displays, and if you're going to make a donation, all the donations will go to the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation. If you'd like more details or you'd like to get entered into the Parade of Lights, you can go to LloydEXH.com. And you've still got time to win some extra cash for Christmas when you get your 50-50 ticket for the holiday 50-50 in support of the United Way Lloydminster and District. The draw is coming up on a Wednesday, so get your ticket today. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Welcome back. Over the span of the coronavirus, people have picked up new and different hobbies. 2 Sask boys have picked up podcasting, and as Evan Kenny reports, are trying to make a difference.
Hey, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Foxing Around podcast. I'm your host,
Raymond Fox and River Thomas, the 2 creators, hosts, and at time guests of Foxing Around. The 2 Saskatchewan-born men started Foxing Around while quarantining in their apartment in Olds.
And I was like, hey, do you want to start a podcast? Like, I'm interested in doing it. Would you also want to come with me? And he was totally 100% in from the start. So we just kind of like scraped up all the materials and launched a week after we had a phone call. So
the podcast is a platform for meaningful conversation and a place to share stories. Both college students, Fox and Thomas, obviously learn in the classroom. What isn't obvious is their will to learn elsewhere.
We believe that everybody has a story and everybody can learn something from somebody else's story, whether it's they look at it as inspiration or they know the mistakes that somebody else made and they choose not to follow that same path.
Me and River are very open to learning and understanding, and we want to know more like about everything. So there's so much that we want to learn, and I think that was another reason as well too. So
Foxing Around has had guests ranging from rappers to athletes all the way to former gang members.
When we were talking with our brother Jason Chiquita, and he was explaining mental health issues from a guy that's, you know, probably was one of the biggest and scariest, and still is to this day, you know, one of the biggest and scariest guys that I know. And for him to be able to show his vulnerability and to open up and give that story, I really hope that that message gets out there to more Indigenous youth that, you know, the gang life isn't right. I just lost a nephew about 2 or 3 days ago to gang violence, and I wish he could have heard that message, because I think if he would have heard that, that might have made him not do some stuff that he was doing at the time. So
Foxing Around goes Facebook Live on Sundays and can also be found on YouTube and Twitch. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Applications are open for the 2021 Saskatchewan Agricultural Student Scholarship Program. Eric Bay has more.
Students entering post-secondary agriculture programs are eligible for the Saskatchewan Agriculture Student Scholarship, which awards $4,000 to the winner. Applicants create a video or essay on a relevant ag topic to apply.
Then we have a panel of industry leaders, people that are involved in agriculture, and some ministry folks, and they review all the essays and the videos, and they pick a winner, and then second and third runner-up.
This year's topic is transparency, which Merritt calls an important topic in today's climate.
Transparency, obviously, in the whole ag sector is very important, and it's all to do with, you can tie it to public trust, and you can tie it to a lot of things. But, we pick a theme that we think is relevant for the day type of thing, and then and let the kids go to work and do their thing.
The scholarship has continued to attract larger numbers of applicants, an encouraging sign to those in the ag industry.
It's getting difficult to pick the winners and first runner-up and second runner-up. So it's that's a good story. And the program always changes, and we'll keep reviewing it and looking at it. But right now, it's really got some good interest.
The deadline to apply is March 1st, 2021. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Well, I'm very pleased to be joined with here today on Primetime Local News, platinum-selling Canadian artist Delaney Jane. Delaney, first off, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
We're here talking today about your new EP called Somewhere Else that comes out really soon, but let's just start with talking about the creation process for that album and how it differs from your last EP.
So for this particular body of work, I had actually written most of the songs pre-quarantine, and some ranging back to even 2 years ago. For example, the lead single, Somewhere Else, I wrote at a songwriting camp in Sweden. And it was March 12th, I was in Los Angeles, and that's when we went into full lockdown this year. And it was after that I started to really think about the kind of music I wanted to put out this year. And so I went through some of my songs I'd previously written, and that was really where I started with this EP. And from there, I wanted to let it grow, and the other songs all came after Somewhere Else. But that was the song that I felt like encapsulated the vibe of where I wanted to go. It's kind of got an 80s synthwave vibe, and it's upbeat, yet it's still emotional, staying true to Delaney Jane emo fashion. But like always, I've written all of these songs, and they're all true and real stories or real emotions from my own life. So that's really how it came together. It wasn't like a 6-month period of grinding. It was these songs that had been written over time and from different experiences.
What is the type of genre that you perform, and give us a sense of your music style?
I think, like any artist, your sound evolves and changes over time. I put out my first album last year called Dirty Pretty Things, and wow, what a wide range of kind of variety on there. I would like to say that in a nutshell, my music is dark pop music with electronic influence. I write really raw, real, sometimes gritty lyrics for some songs. And then there are other songs like Bad Habits, which some people might know, that has been compared to like a darker T Swift or something. but yeah, I like to talk about the things that sometimes people feel uncomfortable to talk about. But that's just me being vulnerable. And then, the more open I am, the more it allows other people to be open and connect with me.
Just to bring up some of the highlights here for yourself, you did perform at the iHeartRadio Jingle Ball, and there were lots of other big names performing in that concert as well. When you get all that recognition and all these opportunities, what goes through your head with all these things happening for yourself?
It's pretty crazy, especially because I came from, I came up in a different scene entirely. I kind of came up in the EDM world doing feature songs with different producers and DJs. So when I finally got to break free from that and really dive into my own solo project, it was super liberating getting to write my own songs and put out my own stories. And it's funny because you mentioned the Jingle Ball, and I'm pretty sure, the Chainsmokers headlined that, and they're actually good friends of mine. I went on tour with them, with Sean Frank with them a couple of years ago now. Who else played? Dua Lipa. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. For that one specifically, when I performed, and then I got to stand, front row section and watch Dua Lipa, Khalid, the Chainsmokers and my boys, but still, it was like, it's very surreal once you start, started from a smaller town Canadian girl, and then you become intertwined with these massive and super talented artists. I hope there's more of that, because this year has been, it feels like we've all taken a step back, and I really miss performing, and I miss feeling like, I'm moving forward in my career, but everyone is feeling the same right now. I think that life is kind of stagnant. So I hope we get back to that.
I know many artists are keeping themselves busy since they can't really go out on tour. So have you done anything kind of unique or cool? Have you picked up any new hobbies? What's some things that you've been doing?
Okay, well, let me show you. I invested on my favorite investments this quarantine was a full weight set. So anyone who follows me or knows me knows how exercise is my number one trick to stay sane. I've gotten into cooking again. I used to love cooking, but my lifestyle and the touring life, it literally, I would just rely on Uber Eats all the time. I'm in sessions, I order food. Traveling, you order food. And so I've really enjoyed getting back to cooking, baking. Yesterday, I did a full tie-dye day, and I wish I had them right here, but I did some incredible tie-dye, and I'm thinking, like, I'm inspired. I don't know. I might dive into, like, starting my own clothing line doing tie-dye. But those are just a few things that I've been keeping busy with.
And lastly, for those that want to hear your new EP Somewhere Else, how can people get it?
The EP drops December 11th, and you can find it on pretty much any streaming platform, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora. There are so many more that I can't keep track of, but it's everywhere you want to find it.
Well, Delaney, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Somewhere Else, her new EP drops on December 11th. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for having me. Take care and stay safe.